They do now have the double global, though, of the Realm Warp and the Grand Starfall. So Pantheon Rise, we've seen find a lot of success. T1 especially have been very, very good with making this work. Faker and Owner are really expert at it.
Despite Andal using his flash there, and they read the play well. When Namgung went in, they were like, I'm not going to be confused by this. I'm actually going to realize that, in fact, the Rise is coming, and UCAL probably did communicate that to them as well. And they handled it very, very well, and it should lead to first Dragon.
Unless, oh, okay, Gideon not able to get over the wall, decided not to flash in, which is what he would have had to do, unless someone got in range. As Teddy is possibly in an uncomfortable spot, as Roma's getting on down here, and we're going to get thrown away as Teddy able to Valkyrie himself to safety. The slows do come through, and the anchor goes entirely wide, but it's 2 kills for Gio immediately, and Willa has the Crescent Guard. Roma nowhere to go, and it's doubles upon doubles here for DRX. And some top laners fighting in the top lane, but man, that was pretty red side favored.
The team just kind of sent it, and once you're that deep in, you can't really, you have to fight your way out, right? So they did not win that fight.
No.
The tools that DRX have in a skirmish, Bro kind of misreading, I think, their power level at that moment.
And now we've got a cull that's going to cash in here for Gio as well. One very cool thing that you can see towards the top of your screen is quest completion timers, kind of. All-ins or anything like that, so it's not really end of the world.
It's
anyway,
just, I mean, the bottom side of the map's where it's really at, right? Like, you know, the top side, great advantage for casting and all that. DRX like, cool, we're going to take another objective here as we keep having that bottom side prio.
Oh. Hook going to come on through, but now we've got the Unbreakable Will for Namgung. We'll see when he actually decides to press that button as he's going down very, very low. Andil now looking for the angle as in comes Gideon. Namgung is just dead, though. That's another kill over to Gio, and now the Shockwave has to be flashed, but the flash hook from Andil comes in, and UCAL will be able to lock him down. The first kill for the Orianna as casting. Was he interrupted? He was.
Yeah,
Rich manages to get the ult off. Beautifully done.
But that's kind of on casting, probably, right? Like, when you're channeling that, it's pretty tough for the ambassador to not interrupt you.
He's doing a lot of damage here from UCAL at the same time with his torch already built up. Roma's removing over, but let's see whether he can actually get anything done as the Grand Starfall does get Gideon in there. That's going to be the steal away, though, as it went down to about 1 health. Shockwave is going to connect as Gideon's going so low, but the Aegis does a fair bit of work, but there's a public execution as Teddy will be taken down. Now Rich's turn to get involved as DRX wipe out 3, and the rest of the bros just have to realm warp themselves to safety.
With the Yunara, and now, like, even Rich is ahead.
Yeah, you say that, Wolf, but if there's one thing I know about the bros, is that it ain't Brova while I'm breathing. Okay?
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, maybe that's true, I suppose. Some have said that.
It might still end up in a loss. However, Nexus is alive, so we cannot count them out just yet. As Rich, even winning his top lane matchup now.
Bolt's coming back.
Yeah, let's see whether Casting can make something happen here as the public execution does nothing. The equalizer does less. And if an R button is pressed in the top lane, you must also press your R button. These are the rules, and they obey.
I guess he just thought Rich wasn't going to miss. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he definitely missed, and then he thought about it for a second, and then threw his ultimate.
It was very weird. It's like he just kind of reacted there or something. I don't... But either way, nobody dies except this turret, but he's not really alive, is he? I mean, we had this debate once. I'm not going to get into it again. But
yeah, we should not do that. As Rich,
okay, right? He's got flash.
He's going to flash out of the way of the flash pole.
That's certainly true. Now there's scaling as well.
Oh, true.
Romer.
All right, Romer is going to try and put Rich in prison, but he may publicly execute him in 1 second's time.
Rich
now going making his way down. Yeah, Rich this time I think will get pulverized to death as they're looking to double their amount of kills. Public execution is going to be used for fun here as Rich will be taken out. Overloading here on the bottom side of the map as the bros
doesn't have TP. Like, I think they should be able to get out just fine as long as they don't greed super hard here. If they greed a little bit more, they're all dead.
Well, we'll just have to see because, of course, with Rich dead and no teleport, then it should be a man advantage here for the bros. And so they are just going to be able to wander their way out. And everyone is going to be safe. All 5 members here towards this bottom side. Decent way to find something as Namgung looking for an angle. They do look to turn it. There's a Grand Starfall as UCAL is going to be the target here for Gideon, but he's down so low. Equalizer is great here from Casting, but the Shockwave's even better. And down goes the Pantheon. Teddy having to get out of the way of Willa now. Wind becomes lightning, goes white, but Andil always finds the hooks, and he himself, but take down all of the bros. That's going to be the ace, and DRX, they woke up on the right side of the bed this morning.
Teddy is hitting a Xin Zhao that's also hitting him, and so there isn't really a whole lot in this one. Let's see what happened to Gideon in the
Gideon
replay.
has exited the video game for the next 30 seconds. That's what just happened.
I was promised I could farm later. They said I could farm later. They didn't let me farm for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, later is game 2. He will be able to farm then. All right, there's Pulverize onto Jiu. That would have been great 20 minutes ago. Unfortunately, it is not that case.
And this is certainly feeling like a kind of gap everywhere outside of the laning phase for casting. You know, Bro just are getting outclassed in every position, and the team coordination, coach comms without DRX look great in this game. The coordination is just much better. They've been able to basically just absorb all of the pressure from Bro, who played this scaling comp like it was an early game comp and found out that it's not.
Well, Rich looking for a little bit of an angle here to publicly execute Roma, as Andel's just going to get a flash with that hook. Gideon down to 50% as Namgung just cannot make it towards his teammate. Shockwave connects onto Roma. That's the priority target they're looking for, as Rich is able to help take him down. And now Carson going to avoid that hook very nicely, but there's the Arc of Ruin, and they will all disintegrate under this inner turret. Jiu happily tanks that one up, has a big old shield as well, and it is only Teddy left standing.
He keeps doing that in these fights. I'm out of here. Sorry, I can't join.
Namgung did that thing where he walked into the jungle now, so the cow is dead. And Willett looking for an angle towards Teddy. He can audaciously charge towards him if he wants to, but decides instead he's going to hit a minion with that button. Doesn't want to go underneath the enemy turret.
And Namgung's defense, he is playing Alistair 15,000 gold behind with no ultimate and no aftershock, and he has a Zeke's. You know, he's just,
I mean,
he's
right
not
now
really playing the game.
We shouldn't really be assessing Bro's play at this stage. They're going to get publicly executed. Both of the carries just eviscerated here by Rich, who gets a big old shield to keep him alive. Casting now down to 50%, but there's the hook onto Gideon, as Namgung does get a headbutt back onto Rich, but he's happily able to dash his way out. I say happily, I mean he limped. But still, it's a triple kill here for Yukao on this Orianna. Can he get a penta? That's the question, as the bottom lane's still up here for the Bros. I think enough time has passed, and DRX are just going to get down to business here and take down these Nexus turrets. My goodness, what an absolute statement game in game number 1, and what a time to do it here for DRX as well in the first game of the play-ins. It's looking very different from Super Week here as they take down the first Nexus of the series.
When it's going toe-to-toe with the Gwen, the Jarvan engages, but the Elise should be able to generate some advantages and also works as the same type of pick. It doesn't have a solar flare, but the Cocoon can certainly work in a similar fashion. And they were setting a trap. This does not work out. There's a Dragon take here, a little bit aggressive, but they have enough control with this Elise.
Yeah, midwave looks to be in control by Roma, and that is going to be that first Hex Tech Dragon taken here by Gideon. Next straight going to be an Infernal.
Casting, actually for the first time really in this game, catching a wave. As well, and just not gonna try to play around that Aurora topside lead or anything.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Ooh, Andal doesn't spot Namgung in this area, but they do have vision, and so Namgung just going to be going back. Gideon should be able to collect this Rift Scuttler.
I just think with all the vision in the fight that we had there around the Grubs, it was pretty transparent to DRX that they just were not going to go for the contest, so they played safe bottom. Getting taken for free here, but see what soul we get. The two individual Drakes themselves are powerful, as we are even going to see a TP from Yukao with that item completion. But it's too slow, though.
And it is Chemtech Soul. We knew it. Thanks, Ox. Can we get him on camera?
Yeah, maybe can we do a pip of Ox right now on the couch? So it's not like if he loses map control, he's just going to be fodder like Elise often is, but he'll still kind of be fodder.
Yeah.
He runs into Jarvan, he's not going to like it.
Well, he's going to get engaged on here and almost, yeah, he just dies.
Everybody is
First
fodder,
blood goes over to G.
I got him once. You know, I was like, this is BS. This isn't real. There's no way. But I cast 2 years of LCK, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm a believer.
I'm also a born-again cursor. All right, there's a seismic shove onto Willow. Works out quite nicely, but into the backline goes Yukao. They will be able to take down the Jarvan first as Mega Cone to get Roma to the enemy side of things. Flash out from Yukao, and he just zaps him with his little staff to take down his opposite number. A 1-for-1 in the jungle, but the Bros are at least on the board.
Time with these turrets with 3 Grubs. That's how this Gwen is going to get online.
I mean, he does have his Riftmaker done now. I think at 2 items. Rich, every time Ghost is up, just runs at casting, and casting will not be able to do too much about it.
In the interim, as he is running over to the Dragon, and they are going to contest.
All right. Featherstorm thrown out to avoid getting hit by an Ezreal ultimate. That's kind of insane, as Yukal is going for a Herald ride. Let's see whether he can knock up Gideon. He does do so. Weaver's Wall comes down to split up this fight. As let's see whether DRX can get this one down. Andel's going to be going down. That is going to be the soul point denied. As Yukal trying to take out this fight. Gideon going to be taken out first. Gio gets over the wall, but they go between the worlds, and out goes the Azir Fire, the Death Chamber. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of the Bros, but they don't get the Drake.
That was very bizarre, the way that DRX decided to play that. It was extremely greedy. Aren't online yet, and they still need to continue to apply pressure on Dragon, which is why that one Dragon secure might have been worth in the end, even though they gave over kills, because now they have some extra time.
Oh, Gideon doesn't find the Vault Breaker, but there's the Weaver's Wall. Willa will be able to get away from that. Does have to use the flash, though, in order to avoid it, as now we've got the quickness coming in. They want to take down Gideon, but he flashes away. Grand Entrance is fantastic. The knock-up with the Flag and Dragon. DRX's team fighting looking so good. Yukal eats all of the rocks, though, and now Casting makes his way forward, trying to do his best Keen impression, but he gets knocked up by the Grand Entrance. DRX are limping in this fight as the Featherstorm tries to keep Gio alive, and there is the Feather recall. Teddy tries to go ballistic, and he does so. Picks up the double True Shot barrage. Doesn't take down Rich as he manages to be immune, and Teddy just Mystic Shots the Jarvan instead of dying in the fight. And DRX, I mean, any of these Qs they connect, Teddy could get a pentakill. He decides not to push his luck, but he may have just saved the game for the Bros.
This is the Honey Fruit. This is actually Valdez's worst, the thing that he hates the most about this fight. Then he has the Mega Cone to get back in, and I think the way he plays is incredible, but I have a bone to pick with this Jarvan re-engage here. Don't go back into the queue.
Yeah.
He's aiming for the Azir as well. You know?
Maybe just expected him not to have... I know, that's not going to be anything. I mean, he's the Fountain Laser.
Now.
He is the Fountain Laser. And that is also going to be the Bros securing the Drake off the back end of that play.
Is going to be high, even if his team is massively far behind. Now his team is ahead.
Oh, Grand Entrance coming on forward. There's the repel as Gideon, gets charmed up. The quickness is so good here as Gideon's taken down. Roman's dead as well. The feather pullback is decent, but Will is going to get taken down. Namgung still alive and is able to take down Jiu, and DRX overextend. The amount of damage there, especially from Teddy, just disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, Rich finally is able to get some alone time with the turret. He's also, you know, he's pretty big. I don't know if there was any way they were going to win that fight.
I'm also not sure whether Gwen is going to be immune as... Oh, never mind. Perhaps Gwen is immune. Rich realizing that he just wants to try and go for the fight. Let's see what he can actually get done here as Casting is his target. Oh my god! It is so close, but Roma finds the shove. Almost 1v3. That's nutty here for Rich on this Gwen. And with 3 invested into the bottom lane, Gio has a lot of DPS and they've got an Azir. Still, Gideon is going to be here to try and make this a 50-50, but they are just taking away the vision.
Practically here, Joker in the coach box.
Oh god, there is Andel. He stops the interruption, stops the denial, and there's the cease and desist. Speaking of stopping, that is Andel stopped as well. 3 Barons left on the map though as DRX, they make the cross map work.
At this stage, you know, DRX end up losing Rich, but as mid turret is going to go down here very soon. And also the Gwen, even though she doesn't win quickly enough to really have side lane pressure, if they want to pinch her, they have to bring 3 people. And as we saw in that last fight, it's not necessarily enough, but that opens up other win cons, other cross maps. And now DRX, I mean, they just could take this Dragon for free with all the pressure of the mid lane, and it looks like Bro are heading to a Baron that don't exist.
Yeah, this is the thing. Oh, we can get the Baron. We'll trade. It's not there. That's obviously not what they were saying.
No. But it's a really good lane setup because they know the Azir can't really get access to that top turret yet, but they're going to have to be quick. Is
Namgung is going to go up into the sky, comes back down again, but now Willa going to have to flag and drag. Roma comes on over as Gideon gets into that back line. Ando looks for the angle, but he doesn't find it. Teddy just takes him out as now Willa flash Cataclysm to get on top, and they do trade the supports. Gideon goes down as well to his GA, and Willa is able to keep himself alive. Sundisk put in place as well as Willa goes back I'm not sure about that one, as now Rich really wants to kill Casting because it's personal between these two top laners. This Baron goes down though, man. It is kind of insane. The feathers are put together. I don't think this is going to be a steal, as Willa did go down to his GA, but thankfully they had the recall of the feathers, and Gio is able to lock that one down. So a second Baron
in this setup here.
Yeah, and Willa did have his GA, so like you were saying. All right, Quickness gets into the backline there as Andal finds the knock-up, and Teddy with the Arcane Shift avoids the Emperor's Divide. Willa is going to get taken down though, and now the needlework from Rich isn't finding enough value. Ucal's taken out, Casting starting to pop off. True Shot Barrage doing so much work as Teddy looking to take matters into his own hands as the Feather Storm comes in, and down goes Gio. The bros are just going to ace them.
Teddy, man, look at his face too on the player cam. He knows. He's known it all along. He's known this whole game. He's the only one on Bro who hasn't died. And this man has a lot of gold in his pockets. He has a lot of items, and he has the high skill cap, Endless Hunger. And this man doesn't miss. The Fountain Laser brings us to 3.
Oh my goodness. There is one man on the Rift today that definitely does not need 8 kills in a row to be legendary, but he has them anyway, as Teddy 806 onto this Ezreal is going to finish off the Nexus. And as it was written,
and they have really strong frontline with this Lu to empower the Aatrox and the Wukong. And I like their draft a lot more here. It is ultimately Zahin going to the jungle, which kind of allows him to skip a laning phase, which is uncomfortable.
It's been a long time since we've seen Sona. We've often seen Seraphine, which felt like the upgraded Sona.
There is that Echoes of Helia build that's been going around.
Yep.
Talk about that later as Willa's here.
Oh, yeah, Willa's making his way down. No flash for Teddy, and a flash forward from Willa. Teddy knows that he is extremely dead. Gets pulled back, and that is first blood over to the Zahin, and a couple of assists dealt over to DRX. Andal is able to piano as much as he can. Finds another Q as now Gideon goes in. That is the secure on the blue buff. Nice knock up there, but there is the polymorph onto Willa. He doesn't have flash, remember, so he is very dead. Teleport to bring in the Galio, but it is a turtle port, and he takes forever to get over here. Picked up without a contest, as there was the Wukong going back to base. Has now a Sheen, so well and truly on the way to the Trinity Force. Both of our junglers wanting to complete that item. And so first Drake does go over to DRX, and the next one going to be a Cloud. A little bit of a shame, feeling pretty good. But Gideon having his grubs. He's going to feel very happy about that. We don't call them Gideon grubs for no reason.
It does feel really interesting how this draft eventuated.
Oh, Romer's flash is just barely not back up again, but he is able to move just towards the top.
Gideon does end up getting these grubs, as he is often wont to do, and his passive proc with all of the healing going into him, he's going to be able to get that up. Willer should be able to res in the fights, but he won't do that much early in the game. So I think Bro losing this first set of dragons really hurts, actually, because
himself alive, opts to use that instead of the wild growth. Gets that movement speed as well, as Willa going in one more time as Teddy. Moonlight Vigil, and Willa is just exploding. He has the passive. No! Not stacked up enough. And now Juve, he's having to get out of there, but Namgung's going to be the one to take the kill. And DRX, they felt like it was a good angle, but the Grim Deliverance didn't really deliver much of anything at all.
Yeah. And like I said, we're not there yet for this composition.
Whoa! Ucal is just flashing in, gets a nice taunt, wins of war to take down Teddy. And yeah, that's sometimes what a gargoyle can do. You just walk in and kill the AD carry.
All right, well, I guess that part worked out. She does some serve numbers, the champion.
And right now, still has a gigantic mana pool as Teddy. My God, the amount of damage. The culling! And he's just dead. Namgung with all the wild growth just came back. That's a decoy just getting obliterated. Rich really doing a number there as down goes the Rift Herald.
Also point here. This might be the fight that decides the game, frankly.
Yep. Gravitum set up here for Teddy, so a fair bit of CC on the cards, but look at that, Gideon just getting pushed out. I don't think he's going to have a way in here with the teleport down from Rich, and Casting hasn't even channeled his just yet. They are just giving up this dragon.
And I just don't think that is...
And so now DRX with a bit of a stranglehold is what it feels like, but you can see the gold on the top of the screen isn't really saying too much because it is just Dew that has a lead here on DRX's side. That's exactly where they want their money, but there are other carries on Bro that might be able to pick up the mantle if they can kill this Lucian as much as he would like. 2 items here for Dew. He's pretty scary with those quick blades now done as well. And that is mid out of turret falling down. Yukal possibly in trouble, as there's a Cyclone to start this fight off. And Yukal does the walk thing. He is just going to walk. Does flash as well, as there's the flash petrifying gaze. Does manage to catch Willa there, who dances towards this monkey, and Yukal stays alive. Andal comes down here as well with Gio in tow, and Roma, without petrifying gaze, is not going to be able to do anything to these guys outside of Willa, who does go down. Didn't manage to stack things up quite enough.
Because there's only a Cassiopeia there to follow up on the Wukong. And
he was looking pretty low.
Zahin took so much damage, and it was valuable.
Goes over, delivers a decoy, as now Rich could be in a little... Well, I mean, he's Cassante, so he's not in trouble at all. As now casting, looking for a little bit of an angle here, gets pulled back by Willer, as the old Aatrox will get wild growth. It's a decent crescendo there as well, but the Grim Deliverance is massive. Heroic Entrance comes down, not a massive amount of value, but Teddy just almost gets popped with that colossal...
Series and in the LCK Cup, because that was the only fight that they really had left in them that they could try to take on any sort of even terms, but they're so far behind in this game.
Oh,
and
everyone... They back away from the Baron. They're not actually looking for that. They want to find a fight instead. Crescendo's back up again as Rich goes in one more time. There's the culling as Gideon having to move over. Yukal looking for that opportunity. Petrifying Gaze is decent, but Grim Deliverance is just going to deliver a Lulu into the Nether Realm. And now DRX looking to take this plate.
We go one more time as there's no Wild Growth Cyclone in position here. Look at the vision control. They have control vision here in this Banana Brush.
Yep.
There's no angle.
Phaelites towards the top side as well, as DRX are not looking for a 50-50 by the looks of things. They really do want to turn. Crescendo still up and available here. As let's see whether Andal is going to go for the play. Does have flash up as well, as there's the pullback onto Roma. He's looking for that petrifying gaze, but he does not quite find it. As in they go Grim Deliverance, as Willa gets into the backline, and Teddy is just eviscerated. Down he will go. It's a decent knockup with the Cyclone, but I think it's too little, and I think it may be too late, as now Rich, fighting against casting again, will break those chains, or those cuffs, Wolf, as you mentioned earlier on, as... Yeah, that is a very cute snowman, but he is also terrifying as Gio is going to relentlessly pursue. Yes, it is the right name for the ability this time, as the sonar is going to go down, but I think Andal did his job. Piercing Light looked so good, as Gideon looking to go down as well. Looking a little worse for where they did lose at least a little more than they would have thought. And look to push them away. Crescendo up again here for Andal.
Casting has to TPN if they're going to stop this, but I think at the end of the day, looks like this one is the one that DRX finally get. Here's the TP, it's late.
Yeah, and there's, oh my god, the amount of damage here. It's the Cyclone to interrupt the Justice Punch. That was pretty good out of Gideon, but he's still walking away. Once again, they stop the Baron.
There's no Cyclone.
Yeah, this is the problematic part. As Winds of War coming on forward, Yukal just on a flank angle here, looking for an opportunity as the culling onto Teddy.
Ooh.
Petrifying Gaze is pretty good out of Roma. He got a decent amount done in the last team fight. Can he do it again? As the Heroic Entrance comes down one more time, but it's onto a decoy, as Teddy was alive for a little while, but he gets taunted and destroyed as casting pulled back together, as Will is able to make it happen this time around on this Zahin. Roma still there with the Twin Fangs, but unfortunately he just cannot walk towards the DRX blockade. And the Elder Dragon is up and available, and there's only a snake standing in the way. DRX thinking instead they might just win the game.
Yeah, the DRX are not going to make a macro mistake here. This is not 2025 DRX. This is a new DRX. Even though his voice can't be heard today, I guarantee you it will be heard in the celebrations to come, as Joker, I think, make a huge impact on how this team macros, how they have played out the early days of the LCK Cup, and now a big part of why it looks like they're going to win and advance here in our first round of play-ins.
Yep, Teddy has respawned, but these Nexus turrets are not long for the world. That's a fair bit of damage there from Roma, but he's immediately just taken down. Now Teddy just desperately trying to hold his base alive. He survived for a lot longer than I was expecting, but this Nexus is not going to. Gideon goes down, and there it is. DRX will be advancing forwards here in the play-ins, and unfortunately, Bro are going to be the second team eliminated from the LCK Cup.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.